Good to be back. Good to be back. I was a little under the weather last week. Decided to just take it easy, recoup, regenerate. We missed a little bit of interesting spice, a little bit of upside price action into the start of May. This is actually the first May stream we've done. Ooh, that's a weird feeling. We've been live on YouTube 6 years almost, 6 years in June, and almost never have we ever missed any real amount of time. That was one of the longest breaks we've ever taken where I wasn't like traveling for work or something. But here we are. We're back. Bitcoin conveniently right back at the same price that we left it. May so far has brought us higher highs. It has respected April's lows, and we're just cruising up here together. Above the 200 daily moving average, the golden cross played out, or the death cross, sorry, played out. The bottom pegged in, and price has moved up since. Looking pretty good. 50 is quickly coming up to meet that 200. Looking to perform the golden cross on the day, the equally kind of unspectacular, unspicy event to the death cross, but in the other direction. And in this bull run, we have actually seen it play out very bullishly. We have seen this cross signal further upside or another leg each year since 2023. We've seen it all the way back in October of 23, led us up to a new all-time high in March. We saw it again in October. I mean, I just putting this together. Both were October. I wonder if it's going to take that long. October of 24, all the way to new all-time high, all the way up into 110K. This one's looking like it's going to actually get here earlier than October. At the pace it's at, we can actually see this has changed since the last stream. 50 daily, almost parallel to the 200. This is largely showing us that the last 50 days of price action and the last 200 days of price action are really at the same level. And price trading here is really just moving sideways, really, according to those averages. We'll put it that way. The 50 will eventually cross the 200 as long as we remain above it. So that gives us a low target of 90.5K. The 50 daily, of course, we've tested this as support both times in the run. 68 or 67 down here. Things are looking good. We haven't even come back to test that 200 as support. It doesn't have to happen, but it is a logical move. May's little pop to a new high actually making this chart look extra good. Let's take a peek at this April close. Take a peek at this April close. I'm excited because we haven't been on since May. The title and the thumbnail. A lot of you have questions. We are going to cover that. It's not just clickbait. It's not even really good clickbait, even if it was. But we'll cover that in a second. Let me just get a little oriented here. I haven't seen much into May. It's fresh. April's close, beautiful. Closing above December's close, January's open. Monthly previous support, flipped resistance when it was tested in March, rejected. Closing back above in April here for a nice 14% candle, now into a higher high in May, holding this level, 93.3. We've been talking about it, it seems like forever, at least since this year started. That's the yearly open. That's the major resistance here that we may have broken on the month. I think the quarter, that was our bullish engulfing. Roughly our bullish engulfing on the quarter. All of our bets basically sit at 93.3 holding. We can trade below it intra-month, intra-week, intra-whatever period, but this is the big thing I am looking to hold. And so far, so good. Actually, May bringing some flowers after April showers, it seems. What do you guys think? Is it going to be a sell in May and walk away event again? It seems like people are so on to that. People are just so about that little rhyme. I don't know. I can't imagine it playing out again. Last May, let's take a peek here quick. I'm curious. Last May, if you sold in May, you sold anywhere here between 59.6 and 69.5. It aged well into August. But if you didn't buy back by November, you were underwater. Going back again into May of 23. Where are we at? 29.3 to 25.8. So even in this May, we did see it trade lower, but this one we really didn't see much farther. From 25.9 down to 24.8 for 7%. You have to have bought back pretty quick. You didn't really get an opportunity in September, and you moved back up. So both Mays over the last 2 years have had lower prices, but they haven't. I don't think they really served as like a good sell in May and walk away date. Here we are at 95K. Maybe it's going to be a little bit better. I'm not selling in May and walking away, not unless we blast new all-time highs. I'll maybe take a little off the table. So let me pull up the chat. I just wanted to get a little oriented here on the day, on the new month. Nice up here on the 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐫𝐭. But let's talk about the title and the thumbnail, because people are curious, and rightfully so. I can only tell you what information exists. I'm not going to sensationalize it for you. If you want that, there are many, many channels that will just straight up lie to you to make it entertaining or make it, clickbaity. We're not going to do that here. I'm just going to tell you what is out there. So President Donald Trump signed an executive order. Let me see the date. I think I had it pulled up here. I believe it was March 5th. Was it March 5th? Oh, cool. Cool. It was 60 days ago. Let's put it that way. Signed an executive order basically assigning the job to look into a crypto reserve for the U.S. Today marks the 60th day. It is the Cinco de Mayo. An interesting day for this. To my knowledge, I don't think anything has been published yet. The day is still young. The Trump administration has, more often than other administrations, I think, put out statements and things kind of later in the day, not maybe during normal hours or during morning hours like we've seen in the past. But it is now 60 days, I do believe. And the description, or what let me see, outline for the deadline from the order date. Deadline, days from order. 30 days out, so this is already passed. Agencies were to review authority to transfer government Bitcoin to the strategic reserve and submit a report to the Secretary of Treasury. We probably should be looking for a statement from the Secretary of Treasury then. Agencies review authority to transfer stockpiled assets to United States digital asset stockpile. Remember, they separated the Bitcoin reserve and U.S. stockpile. It is kind of confusing and vague. There's not a ton out there. The only difference that I saw when this all happened, it was in the wording, but the wording is everything. The wording was that Bitcoin's reserve could use non or net neutral ways to acquire more Bitcoin, where the crypto stockpile was only seized assets and only future seized assets. Both are good for the respective assets, but that is a pretty big, actually, language change, and it does have implications, and hopefully that's what we hear kind of remarked on today. I'm not going to hold my breath, honestly, but that would be really nice. 30 days ago, the agencies were to provide full accounting of the government's digital assets and the Secretary Treasury to the Secretary of Treasury and the Working Group of Digital Asset Markets. So I don't even remember that happening. Chad, we have a lot of people here. Does anyone remember any of this happening 30 days ago? Maybe it's getting lost in translation. Maybe this is all that's due today, though my source is saying 30 days ago was those two. So now in 60-day, Section 3E, the Secretary of Treasury is supposed to deliver evaluation of legal and investment considerations for establishing and managing these reserves. So this is not everything going to the moon, pump it, all-time high instantly, teleport, Dragon Ball Z Goku style, like instinct flash, like to $1 million. But this is good stuff. These are topics. Even if the Treasury Secretary comes out and says, we're not doing this or something, these are all just even topics or ideas. But a few years ago, you would have been laughed out of the room for suggesting that the U.S. government would even have anything to do with Bitcoin, have a reserve with the word Bitcoin on it, to even pledge not to sell their seized Bitcoin and their seized Bitcoin in the future. Those are huge, and those alone may be more impactful on the chart, unfortunately not right now or in the second or today maybe, but in the overall bigger picture than many of the more exciting things maybe that we've seen in the past. That is a pivot or a shift from essentially at one point the government knew nothing about Bitcoin, or at one point Bitcoin didn't exist, and then the government obviously learned about it over time, and their information or their knowledge of it grew with the space, and it's to the point now where they are forced to acknowledge it. They are forced to even maybe play around it, incorporate it, and that is the big stuff. That's huge. If you joined crypto in the last few years, it might feel like a duh moment of, of course they're doing this, right? This is a big thing. It's important to people. There's a lot of money involved, maybe the future aspects or prospects of it. But if you've been in the space for years and years, you remember a time where all of this would be like a fantasy, a fairy tale. This would have happened. No one would ever be thinking in 2025 we're looking at a U.S. strategic reserve for Bitcoin, and then especially for altcoins or any coins, we'd have ETFs filed like every day. I believe the Litecoin ETF has a deadline today as well. I haven't actually seen any updates on that either. I asked 𝐂𝐴 to help me with this, and it's funny because 𝐂𝐴 is quoting me. That's probably not a good sign. Probably not a good sign here. But I can look at the executive order, and I can pull this up for you. Establishment of the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, March 6th, 2025. Yes, so May to May 5th. March 31 days. That's 60 days. We can actually double check here. So let's just go to Section 3A. Okay. Section 3A. Within 30 days of this date, the agency shall review its authorities to transfer government Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. So those 30-day targets were correct. I'm going to just give it the benefit of the doubt and assume that they were all correct. The only 60-day was right here, Section 3E. Within 60 days of the date of this order, so that was March 6th, that's today, the Secretary of the Treasury shall deliver an evaluation of the legal and investment considerations for establishing and managing the strategic Bitcoin reserve and the United States digital asset stockpile going forward, including the accounts in which the strategic Bitcoin reserve and United States digital asset stockpile should be located, and the need for any legislation to operationalize any aspects of this order, proper management and administration of such accounts. Very, very bland, very kind of cookie cutter language here. My political science degree, I went to college, I got a bachelor's in political science, maybe coming into a little value for the first time ever, is kind of reading this crap. It's in its own jargon language. People who are lawyers, went to law school, probably way better at this, but get what I'm saying. Not a lot is being said here. Basically, the only thing that is like guaranteed, even though I don't know, I don't 100% trust that we're going to hear anything today. But the only thing that's supposed to or is being ordered here is that the Secretary of Treasury shall deliver an evaluation. Doesn't have to be good, doesn't have to be in depth, doesn't have to make sense, but the Secretary of Treasury should have to say something today according to this executive order, or he's in violation of it, and that's probably not what he's looking to do. That is what that is. That is the gist of the deadline that is today. The chart, I would say with our higher high in May, our nice close in April, I would say the chart is leaning bullish on this, though it has not obviously happened yet. We haven't heard anything, but I think the chart is leaning to the bullish side as we've had a nice close into April and a little pumpy into May. So pulling up the SEC, National Securities Exchanges, there's supposed to be something today. Let's submit by May. Nothing in May. And nothing in April. Doesn't seem like much is going on. The last SEC comment or regulation was on the NASDAQ stocks, NYSE, NASDAQ. Nothing with crypto here. To my knowledge, there's supposed to be, maybe I'll have to ask AI again, about a Litecoin ETF deadline today. If that does happen, if we hear anything on it, which again, I think that's even less likely, honestly, unless it's included in the Secretary of Treasury's thing, but I don't think it will be. There should be a deadline today about ETF. And if we do get any update, it should be posted to here. Shout out to James for sending me this link earlier today. I appreciate that. That's right off their site. You can find it. Let me feed that over there, see if it can come up with anything. Give it a minute. What's up? What's up, boys? Let me pull over the chat. I got through my kind of rambling intro. One last thing before I just read the chat, vibe with you guys. Look at what we want to look at. Wednesday. So today is Monday. Today's Monday the 5th. Wednesday the 7th. In 2 days. In fact, in exactly 48 hours and 8 minutes from now, CherPow will join us for the largest, most important, biggest FOMC of all dimensions, timelines, and universes. And you better be here. It's going to be a wild time. It's going to be a great time. The odds of a rate cut or hike, I want to say zero-ish, kind of similar to last time. However, this is going to be, and I know you're all about to call Benjamin Cohen. Oh, that's the biggest one. I know we say that every time. But in some aspects, it's true every time. This one has its own super big importance for at least one reason I can name right now. The reason that comes to mind is lots of policy changes, lots of directional changes in the U.S. for trade policy, for these tariffs, for the looking ahead, for the planning CherPow to kind of be working with. In the minutes from the last FOMC, we saw what is, to my knowledge, not criticism, but as close to criticism, or at least addressing trade policy and tariffs that we've ever seen from the feds, maybe of any president I've ever seen. And that's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting to see any changes, any comments. You know they're going to dig into them. The questions are going to dig into CherPow about this. They're going to go hard, as they always do. But now that they've kind of commented on it or alluded to comments on it, it's going to be harder to say, well, I'm not going to comment, because you already did, right? That is going to be big. Other big news, Gina may be there. Maybe there's a new Gina. Who knows? Wherever she is, I hope she's doing great. Let's all just send good vibes out to Gina. Hope she's doing well in her new position in Brussels or something. I don't know. In her new position of letting us down, making us bummed out. All right. Let me pull up the chat. That was it. I have it scheduled. You'll be redirected there after this tab. Hit, remind me, mark it on your calendar. You know the deal. Tom Powell, am I bullish or bearish on crypto? I'm pretty damn bullish. I'm pretty bullish, my friend. Biggest nothing burger of all time, Badger. That's not true, because we've definitely had bigger nothing burgers. This one will be, if a nothing burger, it will be a smaller serving of nothing burger than we have seen at some of these other ones. We're taking hits. That's right, Foxy. Take your hits, smash the like. Thank you, my friend. If you could take a moment, make sure you hit the like button, subscribed, engaged with the chat here, said hello. It's Monday. There's not a lot going on. We're vibing. I just got through my little informational piece, and now we're going to do a little bit kind of more winged content, a little more casual stuff going on here. So I want to know what you're looking at, why you're looking at it, what's important today, what you think about this deadline. Are we going to hear anything? Are we not? In fact, let me start a poll. U.S., I'm going to say Bitcoin reserve comment due today. Will we hear anything? Yes, we will. No. And then, I don't know. Let's see. Vote in the poll. Get a little engagement going. Get the good vibes going. We're taking hits. What's up, Garlic Powder? I see a lot of new names today, which seems odd to me. I have these little channels and stuff that I watch, little 24-hour channels and things that I kind of use to gauge the market and how many people are tuning in, how many people are looking at Google Trends, things like that. All those metrics are very down today, yet I'm seeing a bunch of new people in this chat. So what's up? If you're new today, please don't be shy. I don't bite. Come say what's up. What's up, Crypto Surge? When is the guy going to speak on the Bitcoin reserve ordered? It's ordered today. It's the Secretary of Treasury. To my knowledge, we haven't heard anything. Let me Grok is such a good tool. Do not use Grok to write your homework or for like super factual things, and you always have to double check. But it's really good at it. Just like right now, I'm just gonna say, has the Secretary of Treasury commented today on crypto? And it will look and see if like there's someone's tweeted, if there's comments or whatever on crypto reserve today yet. All right, let's see what it has to say. What's up, Motaz El Sheriff? How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Francisco Pedro Campos, quantitative easing. The Fed has stayed pretty solid, pretty firm, or pretty consistent on their stance here with quantitative easing and tightening, that they're going to look to maybe not necessarily start quantitative easing, but continue to unwind quantitative tightening into what they say is the mid of this year. So that really, it could be on Wednesday. I don't know. I'm going to hold our breath. I think on the last meeting, they did actually talk about reserves. They did cut down the balance sheet, right, a little bit from 30 to 5, but there's still mortgage-backed securities at $35 billion a month. Anyway, we could. Each one where we don't hear about it, we're getting closer to it. I would say May, June, July, August, probably that's about like as far out as I would expect mid-year to be. Getting into September, October, Q4, I think that's probably too late. That's not really following their word. What's up, Kivan Imani? You will not say anything positive for markets. You assume, let alone rate cuts. Fair. The grudge towards Trump and tariffs, for better or worse, is blinding him. That is quite a comment, Kivan Imani. Quite a comment. I don't know where the tariffs will go. Of course, I've been very straightforward with my opinions on these things, as I always am when it comes to like economics, policy, trade. I don't think they're good. I don't think there's good. I don't think there's a history to prove that they're good. I don't think that what has happened since this has started has been good or reflected that it's good. However, I will also admit, I do not know what this looks like at the end of the rainbow. This could end up working. It could. We can't just dismiss and say it won't, but we can't say, well, it doesn't really look like it has in the past. It doesn't really look like it has right now. But that doesn't guarantee that it won't in the future. So I also share a little bearish on that with you as well. However, I don't think Bitcoin necessarily cares as much. There's no Bitcoin tariff. There's no crypto tariff. Trump's talked about lowering energy costs. Bitcoin thrives on energy. That's probably not bad for it. Maybe even if these tariffs and these trade policies don't turn out well, maybe this is even the thing Bitcoin's been waiting for. We have talked about for years kind of the death of the dollar, maybe a little exaggerated, but the death of the dollar or the decline of the dollar kind of making room for Bitcoin to take its place in the world. And maybe that's where we're heading, right? Intentional, not intentional, maybe nothing to do with anyone. Maybe it's just the fate of Bitcoin, the destiny of Bitcoin. I don't know. There's a lot to think about. Tomorrow or Wednesday is going to definitely shed some light on stuff, which is something I'm looking forward to. What's up, Trade Intuition, Digital Asset DJ? I see you, brothers. I see you. I'm catching up with the chat. Randy, how you doing? I am bearish on tariffs. I just don't. That's my opinion. That's my opinion and my observation. That's just how I feel. But I can admit, like I said, Randy, things don't always go the way we think. We'll find out. That's about where I'm at here with them. I think if anything, Bitcoin doesn't care more than most. David Middleton, I'm sick of everything pumping. It's unhealthy. What's pumping, David? Perfect recipe for a giant shakeout or crash. What's pumping? I will say this. So let's remove the Trump tariff talk. Unrelated to this, there's been a lot of weird talk that I have heard about things pumping. Almost everything is down for the year except for gold, right? Nothing's pumping. If you fall 90%, then you pump 50%, you haven't pumped. You've just fallen. And you've just fallen. I don't know. But I keep hearing this on, I don't know, maybe clickbait, maybe crappy news articles about how things are pumping. And it's like, what is pumped? Am I missing something? Maybe I am. You agree with Warren Buffett on tariffs, Chris Sebo? I mean, hard to argue against someone with such experience. That man was probably around. He was probably alive last time they had tariffs. What's up, Crunk? Two big paws. Am I bullish or bearish for the week? I was feeling pretty damn bullish here until, I don't know, like this morning when I went to go live and I was like, I guess now everything kind of looks like a short. You go down to low time frames. This is maybe pulling itself up. Here's kind of my take on real low time frames of today. We're right above support. Right above support, 93.3. That's the year. That's like the big daddy boss I said we're going to flirt with for a long time. Here's kind of what I was looking at. This was looking very melty. This was looking very weak. This looked like bears were in control when I got up. See support being tested. Really not the reaction you're hoping for when you get support hit. Buyers are coming in, but they're just not really moving price up. However, take this with a grain of salt. Over the last hour and 40 minutes, some of this, maybe actually only even the last half an hour, is being invalidated, right? We're seeing this descending trend broken. We've reached to a local, very, very local, zoomed in higher high. If we're not going to play out the dump pattern here, this is what I'd be looking for. I'd be looking for a break of this trend, higher highs, maybe a pullback after, and kind of build up into maybe an Eve bottom here. I think we flip this chart over. Atom, the kind of V shape, and the Eve, a little bit more rounded shape, become more visible. Might be hopium. Might be hopium for now. But yeah, today looked like a short, and now during this live, it's like I don't even know if I take the short, because this is starting to move up. Overall, of course, I remain bullish. Very bullish, baby. Very bullish. Opinions on bonk. Altcoins are in a bad spot right now. Altcoins are in a bad spot, and the light is not yet visible at the end of the tunnel. Not yet. How long do I think it will be before the federal? How long do you think Federal Reserve notes will be around? I'm not sure what you mean. I'm not sure what you're referring to, 𝐂𝐴. Can you clarify? Crypto Surge, you missed Crypto Jeb. Did Jeb stop streaming? Is something wrong with Jeb? I guess I'll have to reach out to him, but is he all right? I imagine many streamers have stopped streaming over the last few weeks. I imagine. We're here for the good times and the bad times, not just the good times. We're not a sunny weather channel, my friends. We're in the trenches, being bullish at the bottom channel. When everyone's in too much pain to look at their portfolios, that's what we are. Soft QE, less tightening is good. Yes, it is 10 pence. What's up, Bullish Mike? What's up, Crypto Era? When Moon was the friends we made along the way, apparently. I say that, yet Bitcoin's at almost 100,000. So, I don't know. We're still kind of at the moon. What's up, TI? Ain't new here, but been 2 years. Jeez, TI, 2 years. Welcome back, my friend. So, last time you were here, bear market times. Michael Stevens, you're always here. We never chat. Welcome. Welcome. You're all welcome here. Drunk Maroon, how you doing? Nicholas Cespedes, looking at SUI and deep. Okay. My trend line from the last bull market top is holding pretty nicely for the time being. Which one? From the bull market top. Which one? I know I had a good bottom trend. Do I have a good top trend? I know I had a good top trend on gold. Did I have a good one? This is the problem. When you live stream analysis all day, every day, right? It can become really easy to just forget even stuff that you've done, right? It can become very easy. Let's see. We'll connect to previous all-time highs. Previous all-time highs. By the way, I saw some subscribers coming in. If you subscribe while we're live, this number will update. It's very exciting. In real time, your name will pop up like Alexander Kruger. Welcome to the crew. Appreciate you, Alexander. Keep subscribing. Keep making that number roll around. Make us look good. Also, the more you subscribe, like, comment, vote in the poll, share, the more YouTube shows this to new viewers, because it says, hey, this must be good content. So I appreciate all the engagement that you guys bring every day. Bringing it today. So maybe this trend line is what you're looking at. Let's get on regular. Actually, what's kind of cool about this trend line, specifically from the last all-time highs, is on the regular non-logarithmic chart. Support very clear, lost it. Now we're kind of back above that level, retaking it. But then even on the logarithmic chart, it's not too much of a difference. Sometimes these are drastically different. This one would show us still under support or under resistance technically, but they're really close actually. Usually there's a bigger discrepancy. These are cool lines. These are cool lines. I like them. I think we can absolutely take some value from the previous 2021 and say, okay, well, when we start closing candles above that trend line, that's a very, very good signal. The market's looking for another leg up. Other than that, I don't really know what we'll do with them. We could say maybe this is a good spot to look to hedge short if you're feeling bearish, if you think the run is mostly over. If you haven't taken any short hedging positions, that would give you about 100K. 100K, very logical, very normal number. Very like a psychological number there to look to take that position. Could be a good play, good call. Other than that, I don't really know what you would do with these. From the 2017 to 2021 line, this one just goes off into infinity over time. So very slowly to infinity over time. Actually, let's look at this. This top trend line, if we never break it, that would mean all the way, let's see, at the maximum, at like the maximum, we'd reach 200K. We'd double by 2031. That's not great. That's really slow. Let's hope we break that trend line. Let's pray we break that trend line. That's super slow. We have a really good bottom trend line that I appreciate all the time, but just is not always visible on the chart. All the way back here. From 2017 pre all-time high into 18 You got this beautiful bottom trend. Leaves me wondering if we'll ever test it again. We tested it at the bear market bottom. We tested it in March, held as support after wicking low, still holding that low. And we really never came back until the bear market bottom again in 2022, which is very spicy. We did for like one day at the PICO bottom, test this trend line before bottoming and moving to all-time highs. So I like this bottom trend. It may be a sign of lows to come in the future. We may never test it again. Anyone's guess. Really anyone's guess on that bad boy. I know one thing, though. If we ever hit that trend line again, if we ever hit this low trend, your boy Tom Crown be dumping some fiat. Guess I'm always dumping the fiat, but I be dumping that fiat. I be buying. Here's something kind of cool. You add this as a channel, which I think is very appropriate. I think history would say that this is largely a channel still. You get some cool points. I'm just vibing right now. What are we going to talk about? 2019's kind of fake out all-time high. Bear market bounce right to the middle of the channel. Virtually a perfect touch. We see a almost perfect touch on the way down into the bear market. Interesting, we didn't touch it in March, and we actually didn't necessarily touch it even in December. They're gone. Didn't necessarily touch in December. Whoa. Acid trip charting. But close enough. Very, very close. This will be interesting. This will be interesting to see if we fly through this or if we reject. If we move up to this trend line again and like reject, probably going to be looking for the end of the run there. We'll see. But this has played out pretty damn well. I like that. Interesting. I got lost in the sauce there for a minute. I don't remember like what the conversation was that sparked this. However, on low time frames, as I was saying a little bit earlier, another pop to the upside. Each small move here looking to invalidate this crappy looking pattern. This is actually shaping up pretty nicely. I like this Adam and Eve. Okay. I don't know if Blue Green ever commented on what trend line that was again, but feel free. I'm going to refresh the chat. I'm going to refresh the chat here. If you guys haven't, real quick, smash that like button. Say hello if you haven't been here. If you're just lurking, say hello. We're friendly. These are the more intimate streams when the market's not as exciting. This is when the good stuff. This is when the magic's made. If you're looking for an exchange with no KYC, you can sign up. FEMX BYDFI in the video description. Great exchanges I partner with. If you ever have issues, I can even help you with the exchange because I have a good amount of weight pool with both of them, which is an extra value. Low fees, bonuses, all the crap. Make sure you check out joincrowncrypto.com, our new premium group. Let me just throw this up quick so we have the shill out of the way. I should get a big clock so that while I'm doing this, I know like when, like every 15 minutes I'll shill lightly. Joincrowncrypto.com, go to the site. This is not necessarily for everyone, but it is for everyone who is looking to invest in themselves, especially during these slow, grindy times to maximize their crypto experience. Joincrowncrypto.com. You can get a 7-day free trial just for signing up. I do exclusive content in there. I'm going to be doing more and more. I think I'm committing this month to 2 exclusive streams a week. Not a lot of people. I think at max we've had like 15 people in these, so you can come. It's in voice. You can use your voice. You can ask questions. You can talk to me. There's very little that's more valuable than that. All right. Do you get free shades? No. What's up, Tony F? How you doing, man? Where's my drink? What's up, Ricky? Bicky? How you doing? Lurking and working? Let's go. Dim Alex. Dude, there are so many new names in here. I love it. Keep it up. If you're in here, you've never been in this channel, or you've never said hello, say hello. This is the day to do it, apparently. Like 𝐂𝐴𝐺 or not planned, just by end of day, says Dimalox. When reserve talk, we don't have this is the thing. We went over this already, but happy to touch on it again. We have no idea. There's nothing that's planned to my knowledge. I'm looking at my economic calendars. There's nothing that is set today. It is Children's Day in Japan, South Korea, China, United Kingdom is a bank holiday. Hong Kong, birthday of Buddha. I guess kind of a little bit of a holiday. Something's probably not happening here. But I do not see on any of my economic calendars any speeches. Any speeches from the U.S. Nothing. What we do know is that the executive order that Donald Trump signed 60 days ago had a deadline for 30 days, which I actually don't remember if those deadlines were met. I don't remember if I ever finished that little inquiry I was doing. But there is an additional deadline of 60 days, being today. This was exactly 60 days ago, that required the Secretary Treasury to make a I shouldn't ad-lib this, to make a statement. Hold up, let me get the exact wording. Ooh. For Besant to deliver a plan on structuring the Bitcoin reserve. Yes. Okay, so he is to deliver an evaluation. So like I said, if this does happen, it doesn't have to be what we want it to be. It doesn't have to be in depth. It doesn't have to make sense. He really just has to deliver anything that he calls an evaluation of the legal and investment considerations for establishing and managing the reserves. So at best today, the deadline is met. Bissett says he makes an evaluation that says it can be done. It's feasible legally, financially, whatever. That's the best thing that can happen. There is no green light. The U.S. is buying infinite Bitcoin tomorrow possibility coming out of this, right? This is, at best, it's just the green light stays green. At worst, the green light turns red where they say we can't do this. I think the odds of that are about as good as getting a rate cut on Wednesday. And maybe the most probable category, maybe this deadline isn't met and we don't really hear anything. And that would be, I would assume the green light's staying green, but it's like a little dimmer of a green. Not quite as verdant, maybe. Sorry. 30-day debt. Let's see. Let that cook. Okay, so far no public statement confirms any delay with this. That's good to know. Evidence suggests that the deadlines were met as federal agencies submitted required reports on holdings. Okay, cool. That was a large part of the 30-day deadline, was to get all the holdings accounted for, etc. So I guess the 30-day deadlines were met, at least some of them, maybe all of them. And that gives me more hope that we'll hear something today. But there's nothing on the calendar. There's nothing scheduled. I said earlier, this administration has made announcements kind of at, not in the morning, just kind of like after market times at times. Could be at any point today. We'll see. Government evaluation will acquire Bitcoin in the bear market. Otherwise, we'll just keep confiscating until then, probably J-Day. The only thing I don't like, so guys, real talk here. The only thing I don't like about the Bitcoin reserve thing is, in ways, it gives the government incentive to confiscate Bitcoin. You could argue that they already had incentive because even if they auctioned it, right, still incentive. And I would agree. You'd be right. This is just like in my head, a thought I can't really shake is we don't want the government going after our Bitcoin. We can say, yeah, when it's a criminal and a hack and this and that. Yeah, absolutely. Right. When we seize it from bad people doing bad things with it, perfect. I just don't like opening the door. I don't like opening doors. Doors don't get shut very often in governments. I don't like kind of it being maybe a focus, maybe it being, we've had problems with that in the U.S. in the past. We won't go into it. We won't go too into it. Reminds me, Foxy, I wasn't going to go into it, but Foxy's got to just pitch me that softball. Bretton Woods. I mean, like we've confiscated assets from citizens before, and I'm not fear-mongering. I'm not saying Trump's going to come after our Bitcoin, but certainly no one thought the government was coming after their gold like in 1913. Certainly no one thought that right away. It's just something we just need to be aware of. We can see the past. We know what happened. We just need to be aware. We need to be vigilant. And we need to exist in reality. We don't trust in this space. We verify. We don't trust. We can't just say, I trust it won't happen. That's not good enough. If you trust things won't happen when it comes to like this scale, Crypto's not for you. Anyway, Bitcoin's a snail today. Yeah, it is. It's looking a little better than this morning, though. Civil asset forfeiture, dude, Bullish Mike, I could talk for hours on that topic. This has nothing to do with any president or any political side. This is something that's been existed forever. Civil asset forfeiture accounts for more value stolen from U.S. citizens, I believe, than every other source combined, than like theft, grand theft. The government takes their stuff. It's been doing it for a long time and giving you really no recourse to get it back. Bitcoin, I think there's an argument of, well, it's harder to take, it's harder to confiscate, it's resistant to that. Agreed. But man, we got to get rid of that shit. That's bullshit. You could not just take their assets because there might be a crime, right? No, it's evidence forever. This cash is evidence forever of something you have no evidence you did. Anyway, it's wild. It's crazy. We need to get rid of that. What's up, Crypto Princess? How you doing, darling? Take your crypto off exchanges, Randy? Always. Always. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. M2 will drive Bitcoin higher soon, no matter what. Well, let's take a look at M2. M2 supply Fed. The Fred. Last data point, March. 21,750. 21,762. All right, I guess in March we did have a new all-time high in M2. Just kind of slipped under the radar there, didn't it? Who knows when this data point updated. As you can see, we're in May. We have no April date. But this hit an all-time high kind of under the radar here. I don't remember many people talking about this. All moon star here, baby. There it is. This chart has been this way for maybe a year plus. All moon star here. When did this come out? When did the Fed update M2 supply? Okay, it says they update on a monthly basis, which is bullshit. Though we've seen it be more than 2 months behind at times. The most recent update being April 22nd, reflecting March of 2025. So this is very new, actually. This data point, this all-time high in M2 for the U.S. has only been public information for 13 days. It'll be 2 weeks tomorrow. That is actually very spicy. Will that float all boats? Yes, I think so. I think it will. I think Bitcoin is in a good position with everything going on. People are talking about tariffs, trade policy, interest rates. All these things are bigger macroeconomic considerations. They're all important. They affect everything. But I believe that Bitcoin is in a uniquely strong position to be resilient to them, to be resistant to them. You can't tariff Bitcoin. Energy is a big consideration when it comes to inflation. Seems like an important aspect for Trump. He's spoken of it a lot. Energy is really the lifeblood of Bitcoin, of proof of work. Like, I think it's in a pretty unique situation to be resilient. Doesn't mean it can't go down, but if it does, I imagine it will bottom sooner, bounce higher, have bigger, adjusted returns once like a bottom is in, etc. I think that this is the place that you want to be. The U.S. dollar was the gold standard, the U.S. dollar, to park money for a long time. I don't think I think that's becoming less true right now. And that is, in my opinion, opening up space for Bitcoin to just exist, to just grow into a bigger shell like a hermit crab. I remember when the reserve was first bought up, it was not about selling it, not buying it. Reserve brought up, it was about not selling it and buying. Okay, Jada, you're right. It is actually still just about not selling it. There are no plans yet to buy Bitcoin or any crypto for these reserves that is public yet. What's up, Hookah Fish? Nothing like gold confiscation. Dude, gold being confiscated is just the lesson for Bitcoiners, for us in this space. Like, it should be the go-to. We should talk about it a lot. This isn't just the U.S. Like, governments in the past have confiscated things. I mean, in the past, in the future, in the present, have confiscated assets from citizens. Bitcoin is just organically resistant to it. certainly isn't impossible. Nothing's impossible. But it is just by its nature fundamentally difficult to seize. We have to be aware of it. I'm not saying anyone's coming for it, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was people thinking about it. At least. Bitcoin will be much easier to confiscate than physical. Absolutely not true. Absolutely not true, bro. You could say that of, like, I don't know, if you have a US account, you say you're on Coinbase, right? And you have all your Bitcoin on Coinbase. Yeah, that's going to be pretty hard to stop the government from taking. Stop anyone from taking that can control Coinbase's actions. You have Bitcoin in random private wallets spread out. That's pretty difficult. It's pretty difficult. So what happens, you know, someone comes knocking and says, give me all your Bitcoin. I'm the government man. And you say, oh no. And they have guns and stuff. So you're like, oh no, I'll have to do what you say. And you send them some Bitcoin. How do they know if you have more? How do they know they're in these wallets? You know, like it is difficult just fundamentally when you compare it to other assets. They can't search your house and find it. There's nothing to hide. Like, you're not hiding big bars of gold and stuff. It's just fundamental. I'm not saying it's impossible. Just resistant. See, you cash out into fiat. Well, obviously, you're going to have trouble cashing out on a U.S. exchange or into dollars. But that, see, now you're adding to the goal. You're moving the goalpost back. At first, it's, oh, well, it's easier to seize. No, it's not. Okay, well, then you can't get dollars out of it. Well, that's not the argument. We're talking about seizing. You can't get dollars out of anything if it's seized, right? It's just an interesting topic to think about. You guys don't have to think the same way I do. This is my opinion. About to leave the bears in the dust? I hope so, kitty. I hope so. Easy to block Bitcoin. How do you block Bitcoin, Will? Curious. Private key or 30 years in jail? Not exactly hard. Exactly. I don't know if you just missed what I said, though, is someone comes knocking. I'm from the guys with all the guns. Give us your Bitcoin. You give them some Bitcoin. How do they know if you have more? How do they, like, this is the thing. It's, you say they take a crumb. Maybe that is all you have. Maybe it's not. Like, the pseudo anonymity adds a lot of protection. Not saying do not get it fooled. Not saying it's a perfect solution. I'm not saying it's 100% safe. Just saying, fundamentally, it is resistant. Get Bitcoin offline, exactly. They can take away your freedom. Yes, Primo. Absolutely. That's true of anything. It's true of absolutely anything. But listen, just think about it. Compared to a physical object that exists that you have to hide, etc. It is easier. Or it is in a better position. That's all I'm saying. Lost your Bitcoin in a boating accident. Exactly. That could be true. It doesn't even have to be a boating accident. It could be anything. People write down their keys wrong all the time. Then what? Bitcoin, here, to put just a sword through the chest of this debate. Bitcoin can exist in a state where no one, no matter what, can seize it. Not even the owner of it. Okay? Nothing else of value, nothing else fundamentally exists in that capacity. Draw your conclusions from there. You know, draw whatever you want to kind of extrapolate out with that. It can exist in a completely unseizable format. Yes, that means you don't get it either. What I mean is burning your key. You could burn your key. Then what? Doesn't matter how many guns or bombs or swords or dudes you got. No one's getting it. You can't do that with anything else. Nothing else functions that way. You hope you're wrong. You've sold all your spot and stocks holding physical metals. I mean, I think you're doing very well. Sheetrowski, I think you're doing really well, man. Depending on when you did that. You're probably doing really good. Gold, physical metals been doing solid. Very solid. I'm sure you'll be fine, right? Like, I don't know. I don't think that's a bad position to be in. Give the government the seed to your shitcoins. Yes. You can block Bitcoin easy. I'm talking BS. Bro, Will, you literally are literally not presenting any argument whatsoever. You're just saying you can block Bitcoin easily. And then when I said how, you just said easily. It runs on the internet. Wake up. You're talking BS. Dude, come at me with literally anything other than it's easy to stop it. Like, come after me. In fact, you know what? Try to stop me from sending Bitcoin. Like, just right now, go ahead and try to stop. See if that works out for you. You can lose a boating accident. You can't ever cash it out. What's the point? Yep. I mean, I'm not arguing against that. I already said my opinion there. Just that the uncertainty of it makes it resilient. Yes, it does. XRP. What's XRP? It's cartography, be your black swan for crypto, not reg day trader. Anyone breaking SHA-256 would be a black swan for the entire planet. The entire planet runs on the same encryption that Bitcoin does. If it is compromised or broken, which I don't think it will be in our lifetimes, but if it is, we have huge problems. Not crypto problems, huge problems. Much like banks would just be open digital doors. No data would be able to be like shielded. It would be very bad. Very, very bad. Much worse than just bad for crypto. They put $100,000 award for breaking it, dude. If you broke SHA-256 right now, you would not take an award. You would not take $100,000. You would just freely access any data on the internet and just take it. $100,000 would be nothing. That would be worth like trillions. It might not even be possible to put a value on what that would mean. $100,000 is a joke. Digital dollar world. Very few people understand Bitcoin. Seriously. I mean, look at the last, I don't know how many years of crypto. How many people have joined crypto, not bought any Bitcoin, never really understood Bitcoin, just chased stuff, narrative, pumps. And those are people in crypto. People in crypto don't. You can send it over radio waves, dude. Bitcoin, you can interact with the Bitcoin network in so many ways. The cope from non-coiners when it runs again is gonna be hilarious. Yeah, probably. Good topics though. I shaved my beard and I got little hairs everywhere. Good topics. Who brings their USB on a boat? I don't know. Cody, at the end of the day, it's like just the uncertainty of it. You could have lost your key. It can be unobtainable by anyone. That is a unique resilient asset, or unique resilient aspect of it. Could people in Spain and Portugal seal their Bitcoin last week? Sure. Yeah, bro. With a phone, satellite. Yeah. Tell your AI bot to hide it. There you go. I don't know. Bitcoin, is it a reserve? Is it a currency? Is it a store of value? It doesn't have to be one thing. It isn't one thing. Satoshi created Bitcoin in the cyberpunks with an idea of what Bitcoin would do, where it would fit in the world. They had an idea, but certainly they didn't know the future. They didn't know the future. Nobody knows. Maybe it will be both. Maybe it'll be neither. Maybe it'll find its own. Maybe it'll find a different function. I don't know. I think that people want there to be an easy answer. They want, and it's understandable. It's very human of us. We want there to be an easy answer. We want to be able to explain something in a way that is simple and we can understand. But Bitcoin just isn't that thing. It's proven to us over and over again. It's just not that thing. It is a new concept. It is a new idea. And to say, okay, this brand new idea has to fit into one of these boxes or something, right? I think it's just fundamentally flawed. It just isn't that simple. I make this argument in defense of like shitcoins all the time too. And NFTs when they're popular is we likely, whatever it is we're doing with them now is likely not their real value. It's not like where they're going to end up finding a home or like finding a fit. The future will tell us. The future will guide us to that conclusion. We don't have to be there yet. SHA-512 is in use. 256 is here. Yeah. AI8T88, of course. And there are cryptographic algorithms that are more secure than SHA-512, right? But the idea of what I was saying is if SHA-256 was broken right now, the world would be in chaos and nobody would care about it. Nobody really care about what's happening to Bitcoin. MIT is trying to develop quantum computing to defeat it. I mean, the whole world's trying to develop quantum computing. The only way to block Bitcoin would be shut down the power grid or disrupt the internet. Even more, Jay Wheels. Take that to another level, man. Would be to globally shut down those things. Globally. Not an easy task, especially as we deploy more satellites and stuff like that, things that are outside of like the Earth. Those are all just little escape hatches. As long as there's a network, there'll be Bitcoin. Amen, dude. You got it. You got it. A solar flare stole your Bitcoin. Solar flare stole my bike. So since we were looking at low time frames earlier in the episode, I don't know how long we've been live, an hour, pointed out pretty bearish structure that was being, we said, potentially invalidated here. We saw support hold, lower high, higher low. We saw our first higher high come into play while we were live, and we said this may be, this is a very powerful pattern with a very, very solid hit rate in crypto to break to the downside. But when that doesn't play out, you're looking for this kind of move, and that's what we're getting. Higher highs, higher lows. You're retesting. This is a 4-hour resistance. You're back up here. This is starting to look reversal-ish to me. It wasn't this morning when I woke up. It's looking more so now. I'll call it Adam and Eve. Doesn't really matter. Patterns are just patterns, guys. It doesn't matter what the names are. We assign names mostly so when people are learning, they can like differentiate them. This is the Adam because it is a sharper V-ish shape, more extreme volatile up and down. This is the Eve because it is a smoother, rounder shape, and the Adam and Eve pattern is the V to the U, or the Adam to the Eve. This is playing out well. I think confirmation will be a close above. I mean, the high here, 94,830. We're basically there. I'd say any kind of hourly close. We got 22 minutes. Hourly close above 94.7. Probably a good confirmation for a move into the 95 area. Wow, we're really zoomed in. This is some very low volatility. I thought this was like 5%. This is not even a percent. This volatility sucks. What's up, Fiber Splice God? I see you, bro. Audio is going in and out. That's not good. Thank you, Raymond. Pickle, what's going on with the audio? Let me know. Whoop. Whoop. Well, there we go. Let's go. Send it. There it is. Exactly as predicted. Rock and roll. Rock and roll. It's nice when things work out. Looking for that 0.5% move into the 95.5 zone. Woo, to try not to get too excited. Depends how big the boat is. Run up the likes on the stream. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Hit that placebo button even. Make sure you voted in the poll. We got 400 votes. Make sure you hit this placebo button. Hit the real like and real subscribe. Type something in here. Type something in here. Say hi. There you go. Just like that. Join us. ETH looks stronger than the rest of the market for once. That is a bad sign. Lion, that is a bad sign, sir. Let's check out Ethereum. Agree to disagree. Ethereum really, I mean, I of course appreciate it bouncing at our support target where I bought some Ethereum back for the first time in years. I appreciate that. But this is not a super convincing bounce on FBTC. Not yet. I guess break like 0.02, kind of trend up here, and I'll agree with you that Ethereum is outpacing or kind of showing strength. This is support baby bounce sideways. Definitely better than what we've seen with these big red candles, but Ethereum, maybe compared to other alts, you might have a point. We'll see. The dollar pair, we were pointing this out at the end of April, finally showing some kind of strength, not the exciting kind quite yet, but some kind of strength here. Ethereum bottomed down to like 14-ish hundreds, finally broke back up. This is the first time. This is why it's somewhat exciting. Retaking 1750 was virtually the first time since like 4K that Ethereum has retaken any previous support that was flipped to resistance. You look at this whole sell-off from December of last year. Each low met with a lower high, basically met with a lower low that eventually collapses, moves down to another support level. Into February, hit 2,500, actually went down to 2,100. Tried to come back up to 3K, that previous support level right here, right? Rejected. Fell down, rejected, fell down, tried to come back up, rejected, fell down. We have seen every time price tries to even approach that previous level, it just gets smacked down until April 22nd right here. Candle closed at 1750, and while this isn't super spectacular, at least it has bucked the trend of rejecting, moving to another leg. This is a good start. When you line this up with the FBTC pair, it's somewhat confidence building in the short to midterm for Ethereum. We need to see Ethereum have a little bit of upside against Bitcoin, though. A little bit of bullishness in this pair, and we can see Ethereum regain or kind of make back up a lot of what it's lost quickly. I think that the dollar pair would be suggesting that, looking at that, but 2BD, dominance just doesn't want to flinch. Just doesn't want to give up. Dominance, I think, is still going higher. I pulled up CME and then I didn't even look at it. We have one gap directly below us in local price action. We have now a new gap from the weekend, 96.4 to 97.2. We have gaps close to price. 50 daily down here at 87, high above the 200. Really, everything is solid. CME is super bullish. Everything looks solid on this chart as long as we remain, I'll just like kind of jankily draw it. As long as we remain above here, right? We can come all the way down to here. Things are okay. I love it. But like anywhere in this area, and we can probably even just extend this up, obviously like into infinity. Anywhere in this green is fine. Do it like that. That is the only remaining gap above 96.5. We have a lot of gaps down, one gap above. I like that. I like it. Close some of these. That's really cool. I should do a tweet on this. I don't remember anyone tweeting this, the updated M2 chart when it broke all-time high. That's big news. Maybe that was when I was like out. Maybe that was when I was sick. I don't know. People are stupid. That's true. A lot of people are smart. A lot of people in here are smart. Midwest Baker, Bitcoin's built in a way that the whole world could operate on its wealth as a currency. Could. Probably would need a lot of like off-chain transaction stuff. Lightning would be great if it was kind of like perfected. You can still do transactions on exchange without it. But if you're going to use it for every transaction, probably have to do a lot off-chain. You bought 4 Bitcoin was $260. Put half of it in a pound of the green. That's an expensive green. Expensive pound of green, my friend. Let me refresh the chat. That's cooked, yeah. FBTC bottomed. I hope so, man. I bought. Does he enter live trades? Asked Kankles. When the time's right. When the time's right. I don't force him. I don't like just jump into like, I don't know. I don't just like jump into random ass trades all day. Doing a little something at alts. They're breaking daily. Pepe, Fairrunner, Foxy. I'm still hands off on alts until dominance does something, makes a big move, and then collapses. You're about to sell your crypto on these bullshit pumps, says David. I don't know what to think anymore. Can't even get a buying opportunity. Bitcoin goes up. I'll shit the bed. You've been in some of these coins for like 4 years, brother. I'm about to just commiserate here with you. I got some of my bags from like 8 years ago. It happens. The longer you're in the space, the more it makes sense to just buy Bitcoin. Sol and Sui will rip. We'll pull up Sol. What's Sol doing? Sol's still gaining against Ethereum. It's had a kind of a weak 2 weeks. Guess it could have bottomed out against Bitcoin for now. I'm not. It's just so hard, man. It's so hard for me to be bullish on alts until dominance is done, or at least show me a move. Show me a move. This looks bottomy. Didn't hit the entry we wanted. It looks bottomy, but like until Sol's trading above 182, it's 200 daily moving average. It could just fly. It could teleport to 182 and then just smack back down. I need to prove it to me. I need you to show me Not tell me, show me. Hyperliquid resistant. All right, cool. Let me see what I missed. What did not get updated here? Total. Where's total? Cardano. That's not what I meant to pull up. Cardano really similar to Sol there. Like, you got a bottomy pattern. Just show me the breakout. Prove it. Something I don't love. This is, all right, I'm always bullish. I bring you the hopium, the copium, the best of all worlds. But this is the one thing that I do not like about the space right now. This is the one thing that is like, maybe I should be a little more bearish than I am. Total crypto market cap, man. It only broke to all-time high in November of last year. Retraced again. Fell below March's high. I guess we can say it found support, maybe, question mark. I'm not convinced. I'm not like sold on it yet. But do not love this. Last week, reached a new local high in the last few months. But rejected on the weekly from the exact previous all-time high, from that 3.01 trillion. I do not like rejections from this level on total. This is the one thing that's like, man, this is hard to copium your brain around. It's hard to mental gymnastics into like this being good. All we need to see is total close above 3 trillion again. Then we're fine. Everything's good. But while it's hanging out under the previous all-time high, it's threatening. You can see here total not making that same move that Bitcoin did on the month. It rejected from previous support on the month in April or March, like Bitcoin did, but it didn't make it back up there in April. And this is rough. This is a rough thing to kind of wrap a bullish brain around. It's easily explained as to why this is the case, the deviation between Bitcoin and total. And the deviation, or the reason, is because dominance rallied so hard. That's why. So total not expanding as much as Bitcoin as dominance is rallying. But it's the one thing that I'm like, I better keep watching that. Because, man, it'll be hard. It'll be hard to be really, really bullish under 3 trillion total market cap. Bitcoin being bullish here today, though. You're in fart coin. Shit moves good. April 22nd, F broke resistance and bounced it out of BTC. And this is where I told y'all for months. For months, I told everyone I was going to rebuy for the first time some of the Ethereum I bought that I sold at like 4,000. Not Pico top, but like pretty good. Did it in front of you guys publicly. I told you a long time ago, if it reaches 0.179, I'll make my first rebuys. If it breaks there, I don't know, man. I'm probably not rebuying anymore. But we are at major support. I think you have some reason, some logic to look for a bounce. We just haven't gotten it yet. And until Ethereum shows me the pump, shows me the gain, like it's hard to trust. It's had trouble. It's struggled. What's up, Raymond? Time to have a beer. That sounds good. Bitcoin pumping again here, hitting that 95,000 in the live stream. Let's go. What's up, Abdul Rahman? AI8T88, saw you earlier. 𝐂𝐴𝐡𝐚𝐫𝐭 AV Creations. Bears getting wrecked. I like that name. Crypto Steve O, David Brum, my boys here. David Middleton, Digital Asset Degen still here. Foxy's still here. Gold Dragon, how you doing, bro? Ian Mackey. It's not psychosis if it's a religious experience. That's quite a name. It's a mouthful. J Day, Juggaloo Brew, Cankles, Craig, Matthew Schmeed, Not Wrecked, Day Trader, Phoenix IO, Plain Digital, Randy Greer. How you boys doing? C-Spot, Siegel, Seth Hammond, Time Lights Out, Tradefly. How you doing, Tradefly? Tradefly, Tradefly, put a message in the chat. If it's the real account, I'll give you a wrenchy. The real crypto OG. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Check XRP. I pulled up. Our long in XRP actually still alive here. I do not want to see XRP test $2 again. $2.05, I think, was the entry for long. I don't want to see it tested again. Don't love that just broke low after rejecting from 225. As long as it's above 205, I think we're all right. As long as it's above 205, looking for that 225 test. back to 250. That'll be the final TP on this trade, which hasn't hit yet. First one already hit at 8%. Still waiting. I want to see it lower that. What's the bet cryptocurrency to invest in Bitcoin? That's my opinion. GA, Mr. Schmitty. 27 extra account last night on Chill Guy. The problem was it was a $1 account. Well, better than most people. Tomorrow's the most important FOMC meeting ever. No, Chris. Wednesday. I appreciate your energy. Wednesday. You're on track, though. It's the real one. That's what the bots say. Let me just double check. Here we go. Tradefly in the chat, another YouTuber here. He helps out at jointcrowncrypto.com. Good dude. Put his link in the chat. Go ahead, give him a follow. Let me give him a little friendship. Yeah, Tom just told you that Bitcoin has bottomed. You buy. Well, yeah, I can't give you financial advice. I can't give you financial advice, but you did see me long Ethereum up, sell at 4K, open shorts at 4K, close those shorts, and then finally rebuy for the first time ever in how many years at that level. Is it the bottom? I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it was a good value for my trade. I sold like most of it in the 0.4, 0.5 range, so it's like 100% gain against BTC. Yes, they meet on Tuesday and they announce Wednesday for the CherPow and the CherPowdigans. CherPow. It's going to be coming up here on Wednesday, right here. After this live, you'll be directed to it. Hit this button. Hit the notify me button. Put it on your calendar. Make sure you're there. It's going to be big. It's going to be very big. All right. You know. It's a Monday. We're back. Took a few days off. We're back. Ondo be added to reserve, boys. So here's like the biggest, most important element I think of all this reserve talk. Is it doesn't matter what coins are added to it. It's irrelevant. It's honestly, it's not bearish for a coin, but it's really not even bullish for a coin in my opinion to be added to it, because effectively the crypto stockpile is just any crypto that the U.S. government seizes, that they'll just put it in the reserve instead of selling it. It's not like it gets added to the reserve and now there's like any roadmap or blueprint to like buying it or anything. No, that's not at all. It even specifically says otherwise. It's not bearish, but it doesn't really matter. Ondo added, Chill Guy added, doesn't really matter. It's just like literally makes no difference to anything until they actually seize some of it. They don't have any Ondo. It doesn't matter. Totally irrelevant. I don't know about that, Randy. I actually do not know about that. I don't remember reading that. Play that dumbass song. Which song? Which song, Ahmed? For CherPow? I love that song. It's not a dumb song. It's a great song. Check out Tao part. Tao. How long have I been live? I don't know. Maybe a little live in the episode to do requests. Not going to lie. Hold up. Thank you for the 199 trade fly. I didn't see that. And the 499. You would not trust M2. China has reclassified assets that have added to M2. No new supply has been created. Cameron Vong, I don't know if you're still here, brother, but M2 from Fred is just US. So it doesn't matter what China has done or does do with theirs. It's irrelevant. It's the best source we're going to get for that data. So if we kind of dismiss that, then we shouldn't use any data. No new supply has been created. Disagree. Absolutely new supply has been created for M2. China's M2, though, is not... We weren't talking... I don't know if this part you didn't get, but we were not talking about global M2. We were talking specifically and just U.S. From the Fed themselves. That's it. And certainly new M2 has been created. The thing that you were talking about, though, which is kind of interesting. So something that you just pointed out, whether you know this or not, this actually was very confusing for many analysts back in the day. Let me see if I can find the chart. No. Very confusing for some analysts here. because where's M1? Because the U.S. did the same thing with M1. I think it was like in 2020 or something, or 2019. We did the same thing with M1. And so people will find the M1 chart. Yeah, here we go. They talked about this a good amount in 2021. They found this chart and they were like, whoa, it's so meaningful. And I remember finding it and being like, whoa, this is so meaningful. This is so cool. This is like a visualization of Bitcoin's price against something very important that is just very different than everything else we see. And so this could have so many conclusions. This could have so much information for us. Unfortunately, right here, I guess it was April 20. Is April 20? We did the same thing. We did the same thing with M1. That's why it looks like this. Nothing changed fundamentally. In fact, what you would really say is, whether something changed or not is irrelevant. Really what you would say is, well, this is actually what it is. If we just hadn't changed what's included or not, it would actually just be this without that big red, and then it would look exactly like every other chart. It's not as interesting. Got stuck on a tangent there. M2 sketchy? I don't know. Oh, global M2 is sketchy. Yeah, definitely. Tape B is a dope ass DJ. Who's Tape B? K-Jam. Bro, why expired meme coins pump like 20% daily? Because they've been rug pulled. Their supply is controlled by centralized actors like market makers or the devs. There's no volume. There's no order book. So you can just manipulate the chart. Just because something moves up 20% doesn't mean that you'd ever be able to sell any amount of 20%. Well, yeah, it gets complicated if I explain it any other way. Good to have you back. Good to be here, Randy. A lot are anticipating the Treasury comments today. I know, but we haven't gotten any yet. Randy's all fired up. Let's go. Google has M2 money supply. So, every country has every country, but every country has every currency has an M2 supply. Then there's the global, which is like they try to add it all together. Take it all off, Tom. I'm straight, but take it all off. Thank you, sir. Same. Appreciate you. The crypto reserve will also keep all of the funds recovered from stolen and not returned to the investor who had stolen them. Yes. She laughed when she told me. Lucky Rabbit, that's all it is. It's not also that. It is literally just that for the crypto stockpile. It's only that. There is wording specifically that says they're not buying any of it. They don't have plans to buy any of it. It's literally just that. That's why I said it's not really bullish for a coin. It certainly isn't bearish, but it's just not really bullish either. It's like nothing. Just entered the Tau short up 8%. All right. I'm not taking requests because we've been live too long. We're not getting into requests right now. We'd go all day. Go all day. What's up, Javante? Is this a good time to buy right now, Javante? I think it's always a good time to buy Bitcoin. Is it a good time to buy a random shitcoin? I don't know, bro. Probably not. Probably not. Let me see. Tau. You shorted Tau and you're up 8%. Did you short the 𝐂𝐴 daily top today? Yeah. Realistic. You might not be lying. You got a red candle. Got a red candle in the last 5 minutes. Riggedy wrecked. Let's get this off the day. Close lower. Do we have higher RSI? Yeah, got some nice div there. Dibbler. We're planning on holding that short too, though. So you got resistance above, like 430. Support. That support was broken, rejected, broken. You don't have a lot of support below you. A short could play out. Could play out well. Go. T300 target could be all right. I don't know, though. Down to the hour, I don't know if I would short this. Watching tape B. I don't know what that is. What's tape B? Go Leafs. Go Panthers. Panthers or Leafs? What do you guys think? You have an M.2 drive. Same. Adding to that M2. What's up, Craig? 20% on that Tau short. Let's go, Dave. We're all rooting for you. We're collectively all rooting for you. Yeah, print M2 into infinity, and then it flows over to Bitcoin. That has always been the plan, yes. Bitcoiners have always wanted that to be the plan. You think we see 200K in 69 days? All right. Please speak in Hindi. I don't know a single Hindi word, my friend. I cannot do that for you. Did you get wrecked, son? Are you winning? Putting $100 into Bitcoin, a good start. Sure. I mean, you don't have any. I think the best way to get into Bitcoin or into crypto is to just DCA, is to just dedicate, $100 a month, $5 a week, or like whatever it is that doesn't change your lifestyle or what you're able to do or financially stress you, and just put it in week over week, month over month. Forget about it. Come back in a few years and be happy with your little pile. Dodge to $1 by 2026? I think so. I still think so, yeah. What's the deal with Ethereum, 𝐒𝐵𝐵𝐽? I mean, you ask me, I think the merge, the proof of stake transition was sabotage, and I think insiders sold, and I don't think it has a great future like people thought it would maybe last cycle. That's the thing in crypto. You get utility. People are like, utility this, utility that. The issue is that it's all open source. And so no matter what utility you offer, there's always going to be someone who comes along and offers a better version of that utility in the future. And then where does that thing fit in? You know what I mean? Can you tell us more about 𝐂𝐈𝐆 subscriptions for trade setups? I give the group, we have a premium group. You can go to joincrowncrypto.com. It's a premium group where I do give some trade setups. The group is not a signals group, though. It's not a trade setups group. I give them when I got them, when the market's giving them to me. But it is more of a group about education, learning, getting that hands-on kind of intimate instruction that you can't get watching a YouTube channel. Right? In our group, you can literally talk to me on voice multiple times a week. Trade setups are definitely not the focus. And if you're looking for a group or something that is the focus, honestly, you're gonna get scammed. You're gonna end up losing money. But that's not me. I don't want your money under that impression. There's really no such thing as like a signals group. There are grifters, there are scammers, there are people who don't really understand or know that they're doing grifting and scamming. They'll find out later, and kind of everywhere on that spectrum. But signals group just don't work. I've been in this space a long time. This doesn't work. You got to learn to trade for yourself, and that's what our group is for. Boom. Rumors NVIDIA's looking to buy Bitcoin? I don't know. Other companies are doing it. It's catching on. It's not just Sailor anymore. Possible. Eventually, over enough time, I would say likely. Probably not this year. What's up, Curtis Neal? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you, my friend. Sonic. Yeah, you got out of the short 10% profit. Nice, brother. Nice. What's up, Tony? You know what we're going to do, my friends? We have the FOMC on Wednesday. CherPow will be joining us. Maybe even Tom Powell will join us. We'll find out. It's going to be a good time. We've been live for an hour, longer than I expected. Looking for an exchange, use the links in the video description below. FEMX, BYDFI, no KYC if you use my links. They're exchanges that I have a relationship with, so I can have a little bit more pull to help you out if you sign up with them and you have issues. All exchanges have risks, of course. Respect and abide by the laws in your areas. You should join in our Discord, discord.gg/TomCrown. Party's always going there. Bitcoin's looking pretty good today. Much better than when I woke up. But we're going to wrap it up. We'll be live again on Wednesday. Maybe we'll go live again if it gets real spicy today or tomorrow. Kind of doubt it. But the FOMC will be a big event. You should join us. They're the best time of the month. You'll be redirected there after the live stream. Yes. Trading is hard. Yeah, it is. You'll be redirected there. I'll see you Wednesday. I'll see you in the Discord. Check out joincrowncrypto.com. You can get a free week trial. I'm going to be doing more content in there this month than I was before. That's it, fam. Good to be back. I love you all. Hope you have good trades. I'm not really trading much right now. Hopefully that's going to change very soon. Crown out.